You know how you can tell when the company doesn't believe its own excuse? When that executive isn't even the CEO. Since then, the social network has conducted a master class in how not to deal with a crisis. It hasn't explained why it didn't do more when it learned in 2015 of the Cambridge Analytica data heist. It hasn't even said if it notified the people who took the quiz or the friends whose data was swept up via a feature Facebook closed in 2015. Instead, Facebook's initial response amounted to, "We're mad too, we didn't realize that people could abuse our platform like this, but please don't call this a data breach." Facebook's top leadership seems to have switched its own visibility on this subject to friends only. CEO Mark Zuckerberg and Chief Operating Officer Sheryl Sandberg, the two faces of the franchise, have yet to speak even as Facebook's stock has reeled. The most public and useful comments have come from two lower-ranking executives, and on Twitter, not Facebook. Chief Security Officer Alex Stamos and Augmented and Virtual Reality Vice President Andrew Bosworth have provided straightforward, humane responses there. Alas, Stamos, a clear-eyed security expert, and, earlier, Chief Security Officer at NewsPulse Finance's then-parent firm NewsPulse may not speak for Facebook much longer. A New York Times story Monday said he will leave the company in August. Facebook can at least point to plenty of precedent. Major social networks went through almost the exact same exercise over the last 2 years as it became increasingly obvious how badly they'd been abused by fake news vendors and then Russian social media operatives. Then as now, the initial reflex was to back away from responsibility. The damage wasn't that bad, representatives of Facebook, Twitter, TWTR, and Google, GOOGL, said. "We're not in the news business anyway, we're just platforms. We'll punish the people who exploited our system." And then as now, the CEOs involved largely directed their subordinates to do the talking. When the Senate Judiciary Subcommittee on Crime and Terrorism wanted to question all three firms about Russian online disinformation efforts in 2016, Facebook's Zuckerberg, Twitter's Jack Dorsey and Google's Sundar Pichai all sent in their lawyers instead. And thanks to Cambridge Analytica being a British firm, these calls are coming from both sides of the Atlantic. As Damian Collins, a Conservative Member of Parliament, put it, it's time for Mark Zuckerberg to stop hiding behind his Facebook page. Not all of big tech has entirely forgotten how to talk to the public. 4 months after letting his general counsel get grilled by that Senate subcommittee, Twitter's Dorsey took to his own service, on which users regularly denounce him by his @Jack handle for not kicking Nazis off the platform, on March 1 to confess that we didn't fully predict or understand the real-world negative consequences of enabling a public conversation in Twitter's format. He added that in trying to kick off content that broke its rules, Twitter had failed to encourage more healthy debate, conversations, and critical thinking. In fewer words, the problem isn't just bad actors on the platform, but the design of the platform itself. When we see Zuckerberg make an admission like that in public, we'll know Facebook has at least realized the depths of its problems. But at this point, seeing Zuckerberg speak publicly at all about the Cambridge Analytica debacle might represent progress unless he only does so after Congress compels his testimony. More from Rob. Follow NewsPulse Finance on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and LinkedIn. Email rob@. Follow him on Twitter @RobGuerrero.